This is Liam Egeland, and this is my project on To Build a Fire by Jack London for American Lit.
I'm here interviewing a dog who witnessed the downfall of a man traversing the frozen Yukon Trail, only trying to build a fire. So tell us, what happened from your perspective as a dog out in that frozen Yukon?
Well, it was real cold. Colder than maybe this guy even knew. We left the Yukon Trail and headed up another steep trail that looked even worse with no sun, and it looked even colder than the one before. The old timer we met earlier told him not to go it alone in this weather, but we decided to go anyways.
Well, God, I imagine it was below 50, negative 50. Where were you headed?
Well, we were headed back to the camp with the boys, and the camp we were headed to had a warm fire and food cooking on that fire, and we had nothing, so that's our only goal. He had a biscuit in his jacket, but he never even offered me a bite, only a whip of his harsh words.
In temperatures like this, surely frostbite was setting in. Did he try to start a fire?
Well, yes, but he picked a pretty sorry place to try to start that fire. He tried to build it below a snow-packed tree, and I just knew it was a disaster waiting to happen. It wasn't long before an avalanche of snow melted from the fire and fell and snuffed the fire out. And once again, we were cold.
That had to be disappointing. So once the fire went out, how'd you stay warm?
Well, I was still pretty cold, but I have fur, and I was at least able to keep my paws warm by curling up and keeping my tail over the paws, just enough to where they didn't freeze up on me.
Well, I wondered, did he have any matches? Was he able to restart the fire?
No, his hands were frozen after the fire went out, and I could see the defeat washing over him. That's when he started to look at me with this malicious intent, and I could tell his intentions had shifted, and I knew I would become a target sooner or later.
My God, the two of you out in that cold weather alone. What do you think he had planned for you?
Well, I'm not sure, but I just know that he would have done about anything to keep his hands warm. And I think even he would have gone as far to try to cut me open and warm him up inside of me if he needed to.
Well, did he try to go after you? What happened next?
Well, very slowly he came at me and grabbed me. But like I said, his hands were really frozen and he couldn't move them very much. He couldn't even grip me very hard. So I was able to worm my way out and wiggle, and I was able to break free out of his frozen hands and escape into the wilderness.
Well, I know once frostbite hits and your body starts to go into a death phase, your body starts to warm. Was he able to get up?
Oh no. By that point I could tell, I could smell the death on him, and he looked pretty much about dead to me already, so I decided to just give up on him and head back to camp and try to save myself, try to get some warm and at least some food in me.
Well, too bad he wasn't able to build a fire. Take him, Jimmy.
Well, I don't know whatever happened to that man. I had to leave him in a snowdrift. But boy, am I back. I'm glad to be back with some fire and some food. Yummy. Mm-mm-mm. Man, that's good.